Hi, we're back. Abhi, so I made 2 videos last time because I posted the whole video, but then it didn't get posted, and I didn't realize like 3 days later. And then I posted the other one, which got like 1 view, so I felt like the one person that watched it. Thank you. I think I watched it. I think it was me who watched it, so like the 1 view was me. But anyways, it's a nice ending to the video. I think it's important. I think the video is important, but like 30 people watched the ones before. And also I just want to say someone watched the first video and reached out to me on Instagram, which was the sweetest thing ever. Thank you so much. I can't believe someone reached out to me. I can't believe people actually watched it. So that's crazy. But moving on, I wanted to make a video about my poetry journey because surprise, I'm a poet. That's like crazy. I guess it is. I don't know if I give up for it right now. I just went out with my friends and I've come back, so I have like some jewelry on. I'm a huge jewelry girl. This is like less with me, but yeah. So today I'm gonna talk about awareness. Whoa, my light just flashed at me for some reason. So today we're gonna talk about awareness. Now I'm not looking directly at you. I'm looking actually at the laptop. I don't know why I'm doing that, but I find it a good look directly at you because I can see my face. So I'm gonna look here. I'm so sorry, I'm all over the place, I always am, but we're gonna start with awareness. We're gonna talk about awareness. Now, because I think this video series also helps me get more creative for myself, and I can do that by talking into the camera and putting it out in the world, so it like gives me kind of an accountability to be more creative. I've made 2 Instagram videos that did fairly well, but it wasn't the idea of making the video, it was the editing. I tried new styles of editing. Again, they weren't that great, but today I'm gonna also write long format before I go to sleep, and I'm gonna work on my resume. So that's one thing. Just saying this out into the world, out into YouTube, so that when I watch this video again, which I will remember to do all these things. It's accountability for me. Now moving on to awareness. So of course we're reading this book, Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin. Now it's an amazing book for creativity, and this is something oh my god, I don't know if you heard me all this time, because I feel like I should just, guys, give me a minute, second. I don't know why I'm saying guys, like people actually watching this. Okay, this makes my life much more easier, and so does, I guess. So we're talking about Creative Act by Rick Rubin. Now I've read it. When I started reading it, I was like full-fledged reading it, making notes, writing about it, but that ended up not doing anything heavily because I am an obsessive person. When I start, I'm like, oh, I'm super obsessed into something, and then I forget about it. I do think I have undiagnosed ADHD, but now we start again. So this chapter is awareness. I'm gonna read out like a small thing he wrote. The ability to look deeply is the root of creativity. To see past the ordinary and mundane and get to what might otherwise be invisible. Not invincible. I'm so sorry for that. So I went to this creative writing workshop by this spoken word poet in Mumbai called Rabia Kapoor, and she spoke about how even as poets or as writers, we have a habit of like wearing our headphones, and my headphones will probably be somewhere here, and just wearing your headphones and just like shutting out the world. And we have all these like noise cancelling headphones, but as writers, the most important aspect we have is to be aware of our surroundings, is to be aware of the people around us and how the world works, and of like the small things that you don't notice, especially when you're shut out, when you can't hear the world, when you're walking with your headphones. And it's so crazy that it really made me think, and it made me stop listening to music as much on my commutes, because it really makes you observe people, and those observations do come useful. I do 100% believe that they come useful, especially when you're writing, because I remember looking at this woman in the locals, and she was wearing this gorgeous tie-dye sari. It was the brightest sari I had ever seen, but her face, it looked like she was a corpse. Like, it looked like she was dead. And I remember just thinking, tie-dye saris and dead eyes, and I wrote a little bit about it, and it wasn't that great, but like it was still a start to something, like I feel like I would have never noticed this woman who looked like a metaphor, like who had like the most dead eyes I have ever seen. Like, there was no life in her eyes, but there was so much life in what she was wearing. And it just really made me think, and I just couldn't stop looking at her. And I just think that it's so important as writers or just as creative people to be aware of our surroundings and to like not consume so much of music, not music, but like so much art constantly, because when we're out in the world, our eyes and ears should be everywhere. And I think that's what Rick Rubin also talks about in his book, and especially in this chapter in which he talks about or just being aware is like a gift. Just being aware, it's the idea of like being consciously aware and like taking things in. It's not something that's rather okay, I'll read it. Awareness is not a state that you force. There's a little effort involved. So persistence is key. Like, you have to be persistent about being aware, because as someone who zones out a lot, then I have to like get myself back and be like, oh, I'm aware. I think that's really cool. I'm also fumbling a lot while speaking, because this is a new thing that I'm also learning, and something that I also want to work on heavily, because I do like listening to music and shutting the world out when I'm outside. But just existing while noticing others exist and how they exist makes you really, really think about the world. And it gives you like storylines. You don't know what's happened in this woman's life, but you see her with her son, and you're just like making a story of hers in your head. Okay, maybe she's dropping him to school, maybe she's a teacher and he's not feeling well, that's why she got him in this train. Like, there's so much happening, like, and I don't want to use the word like at all, but there's so much happening, and you want to know what's happening. And I think it's so important being aware, and that's why there is like persistence that has to be involved. Like, you have to be a little persistent about this. It's something you actively allow to happen. It is the presence with an acceptance of what is happening in the eternal now. Now, something about Rick Rubin is he has a very like universal, eternal, like that kind of work, like that kind of words that he uses. Now, I'm someone who is slightly spiritually religious, but I also don't heavily agree with a lot of these like eternal, and like, I don't explain it, like there's too much, like sometimes we need to stick to the reality of things, but I also think there's a lot of other things that go on. So while reading this too, I've realized that I don't completely think like him, which is completely fine, because people have different perspectives, and I can't constantly be like the eternal or the zodiac sign or this or that. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, I just don't think it's for me. But I do think that a lot of creative people are like this, because the universe is like that, to be very honest. Like, you have to, being creative is being a little bit outside of the box, and most people who are outside of the box have to have some source of faith or something that they're holding on to, or some sort of supernatural thing like energy or something like that they're holding on to. And I do too, but I'm not too much into it as much as Rick Rubin is, I have to be honest with that. So this is what he talks about right now. This is just like a basic understanding of what it is. We can expand our awareness and we can narrow it. Experience with our eyes open, wide or closed, because like hearing, smelling, tasting, these are also being aware of things. And I think that it's also like beautiful to just close your eyes sometimes and just hear the world around you. Like, don't fall asleep, just hear the world around you. And be safe, please be safe. I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop doing I feel like I should be more prepared when I'm making these videos, but it's okay because no one's watching them, and I'm figuring out how to do this, but I'm also figuring that out for myself. I think this is it for today. I hope you can hear me. I need to stop saying also, bye, Allah Hafiz, have a great day.